Video game bang, video game bang, video game bang. Video game. Mega Brand. Live from the sack, it's the livest. In fact, I'm putting rhymes on this track to put my guys on the map. Updates, geek news, tech talk, and reviews. They can summarize it so you ain't gotta breeze through. Listen once and you're forever fans. And I'm not saying it because their theme song features Mega Ram, the ultimate source of all geek media. Other podcasts, they just don't match up. Need proof? You can check the archives and catch up. Stats off the chain, we have rearranged the game. It'll never be the same. Now it's time to feel the
bang. What is up, my pizzas? Cory Vincent here, back in the VGB studios for a new episode of the Video Game Bang, brought to you by our good friends at Oblivion Comics and Coffee, Vast GG Energy Esports. And this episode features the Filmlosophers. What's up, Eddie?
Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of VGB.
He did the thing.
I did the thing. I'm learning. Third time's a charm, all right?
I love the Filmlosophers podcast. So much energy. You and Spencer, amazing dynamic. How have things been going? What's the hot movie?
Right now, we just recently did a review of...
I listened to it, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that's right. Well, the most recent one was Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh, okay.
We just dropped that one.
How was that?
It was good because now you're expecting like an actually good movie because you got good actors.
Yeah.
But like everything else prior, just garbage. So catching Spencer up to date was like hell because I had to pull teeth just to get him to watch a recap.
Oof.
But
can I watch it if the only Fast and Furious movie I've ever seen is Tokyo Drift?
Yes. That's how good it is because of the fact that you don't need any. There's no ties in this film to anything else other than these two people don't like each other.
I have a knowledge of Tokyo Drift and I have a love for The Rock.
Speaking of Little Bow Wow, he was the original Bow Wow. What is up, Jason Gist?
What?
I didn't mean to expose you like that. You were the first. It was actually a Milli Vanilli situation.
There you go.
Bow Wow didn't do his first album.
I was in the background.
It was Jay Gist laying down some flows.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Now you
That
go.
flow, and that's how I go.
I think I want to see this now.
This man is everywhere like air. He is all over the place like space. Jason Gist, dude, thanks for making time to stop by the show, dude.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
You want to fill people in just on like a couple of the things you've been doing the last few months?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we got enough time in the show to go over everything you do.
So I guess the most important thing I want to do is just talk about what we did at the California State Fair. So we put together the first ever esports center at the California State Fair.
Yes.
And it was an event that ran for 17 days straight. I had a crew working there for 12 plus hours. I was there for about 12 plus hours a day.
You had your wife working there too, like
crazy.
crazy.
Your wife,
yes,
your daughter.
Crystal, she did so much in the background to make sure that everything was working perfectly for us. She was amazing. We had all of our friends helping out.
Donna, a good friend of ours.
Donna's helping out for
Donna,
sure.
who saved my life.
Donna actually saved Emma's life. Were you there for that, Jay?
Yeah, I was.
Oh, yeah,
Died.
you're right.
They came in from after being out there for about an hour and a half in the over 100-degree weather.
Emma weighs 80 pounds and she's carrying a 90-pound backpack.
80 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah, they came in just beat red, and we were like immediately took them to the back room so they could sit down and drink
took
water.
him to the triage section that you guys had there in the back.
Yeah.
Emma Skies, what's going on, Emma?
I'm not dying anymore, so
Thank
I'm good.
God. Well,
I'm good.
No, you're alive and well. What's been going on? What's new in Emma's world? How's Wolfenstein progressing?
Good. I finished it. It took me 4 hours to get through 2 firefights, and I wanted to kill myself, but I finished it.
Oh, because you're playing on the hardest difficulty.
I am. I was on Uber, and I finally
people are
got
like,
through it.
oh, she's not good at games. No, because she plays it on insane mode.
Yes.
Are you playing the new one or the new Colossus?
I just finished New Order, and I'm going to start New Colossus tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
Ooh, on stream, right?
Yes.
All right.
I tried to play yesterday, and Xbox had a service outage for like 9 hours.
Xbox?
So I couldn't. Yeah, so you couldn't play anything on Game Pass.
Ooh, that's unlike them.
Really?
Yeah.
I might have seen that.
Going back to the State Fair, though, Jay, man, it was an incredible event. It was, I don't think we've ever seen a gaming activation this like grassroots in front of so many people in my time doing, video game media stuff in Sacramento. It was really the most incredible thing to behold. So just tell us a little bit more about like the fallout and like how did the people at the fair, obviously they took like a risk. You said they didn't, know too much about the gaming space. So they brought in you, an expert, and then you how many months did it take to prepare, and what were the results?
Yeah, so we started talking about it in close to January or February before we started actually, putting all the details. I talked to them at the end of the year. Last year, gave them my spiel on how it's important to showcase the different gaming communities in Sacramento, as well as make it feel more open for Northern California as well. And I think we did a really good job. We showcased a lot of different games, and actually I saw a lot more people from different communities than I expected. Whenever we did a Apex tournament, we had over 100 people show up to play a LAN version of Apex in a LAN, and one of them was Team Dignitas. Even they wanted to come out and support the game, support the scene, and talk to everybody, and it was really awesome. And then also we wanted to reach out to different colleges to showcase that esports is not just something that is just for people that are sitting in their houses and looking to just make money playing video games, but it's actually something that's being looked at very closely in colleges and building programs around so that people can come in and compete for their schools, but also get degrees and what they really want to do in life.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really, really fun. And then we also had awesome streamers. Emma came out a couple times. You guys came out and did some videos.
You said you had awesome streamers.
Wow!
Wow!
What a roast!
I haven't seen Emma in a while. I gotta.
Yeah, Videogame BANG came in, did a great job. Curtis was amazing whenever we did commentary for NBA 2K.
Yeah, we talked about that on the show. He just flipped a switch, man. I didn't realize he was casting that thing solo.
Oh yeah, he did the whole thing solo. He did an amazing job.
Yeah.
I was super impressed. And then we had Owning Toaster. He came out and did Rocket League and Apex, and we had Kanashi from the Bay Area come out to do Overwatch, and he's like a one-man show.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
I got to cast a little bit with him at the end of that when we did the gun game, basically the Hero Gauntlet.
Yeah,
and
Nevix, that was a really fun show.
That's when I realized how hard casting is. That's a difficult thing to do. But you pulled together the Avengers of Sacramento. Like, you went out and you pulled Tabu Ohana for the chairs. Like, I didn't even know we had a chair company here. You had the Fire Up guys out there pretty much every single day. Like you said, you pulled in Donna and just a superstar cast of streamers.
Are you calling Jay the video game Nick Fury?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
sure.
actually
there we go.
He's the Nick Fury of video games in Sacramento.
There you go.
Let me tell you about my initiative.
Yeah, please.
We're gonna get you an eye patch.
I want to be a part of it.
Hold on, we got to poke his eye out first. Hold on.
Hold on, you got a cat around here?
There you go.
So what did the fair think about it? The people who were kind of uninitiated to esports and gaming, how did it stack up? Because you had some stiff competition. You had the rabbit lizard petting zoo to your right.
Absolutely. We had quilts to the left
You
of
had
us.
quilts on the left.
Man, it was some hard competition.
We had a selfie experience over across from us.
I know.
And grandmas at the quilting area were vicious.
Yeah, no, it was great. I mean, it was a brand new exhibit that they wanted to show off. They didn't know how it was going to turn out, and honestly, I didn't know how it was going to turn out. But I think we did a great job contacting. I think word of mouth was probably what was the biggest thing, and we saw growth with people coming to the fair, especially at a younger age, which was one of the things that they were trying to do. So they definitely did see it as a success, and we are already in talks about how we're going to make it bigger next year.
That's
Nice.
exciting.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Good job, Jay. If you follow Jay on social media for all the events, because then he finishes that up and then announces his next here. That's not even his final form. He's still got his Capital Fight District going on. He had another event coming up on the 17th, right above Oblivion Comics and Coffee, who just announced their Bang drink. So there is a drink at Oblivion Comics and Coffee for Videogame BANG, and we got some more details that we'll share about that one here very soon. But yeah, man, Jay, awesome job. Follow him on social media. He wrote this big long thank you to all the people, and that's when he realized how many people it took. And there's nothing
It was a big thread.
It was a huge thread and had every big name in the area, partnered streamers, all sorts of meetup groups, colleges, and it took all of us. It was a really good networking experience. Basically, you got to be at the next one. If you missed this one, it's okay. Next year, you got to go because it's huge and it's going to get bigger. So.
It's interesting that while everything was happening the last week of the fair, we actually went to San Diego. We just happened to be on the same flight, me and Jay and his wife. And I'm like, so who are you leaving to run everything? And he was like starting to shake. Like I had triggered him with some kind of, like, hold on, I got to make a phone call. Like, no. Yeah. So it's really awesome to hear like how much of an impact it had at the State Fair and what even those that run the State Fair are looking forward to next year. So it's awesome, man.
Thank you.
It's gonna be big. Lots of stuff going on. Evo was obviously last weekend. That's where I was while these fine folks were running the podcast. Definitely an experience like I'd never imagined it would be. It was huge. It's more of a convention like a Comic-Con.
Was this your first Evo?
This was my first Evo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was in Mandalay Bay. And they had this big, huge chunk of the convention center. The pros.
On Mandalay Bay.
The pros of this whole thing was it didn't smell. Like FGC tournaments can get a little ripe, when they're
because the Mandalay Bay is a nice ass place. They're gonna put up with that shit.
Yeah, and it's huge. I mean, the Mandalay Bay is huge.
And I'm pretty sure they stock those rooms with extra deodorant and extra body spray.
That's the only hotel I've ever been to in Vegas that I actually stayed at, and I love that hotel.
Yeah, it was amazing. It felt like a little disconnected because of just how big it is, and there's a lot to absorb and a lot to do, and there's just a giant area of pools. And the players, I was a little surprised. Like, from the outside, you think, oh, Evo's the biggest tournament for fighting games. Of course, they must love this tournament. It's more of a chore for them. Like, their schedules are booty, especially in the smaller games. Like, they show up at 2, run through like 3 matches, and then they have to wait around until like 8. But because there's a billion people, they don't actually get started till 11:30. A lot of these guys traveled from other countries to be here to compete. So it's
it's really hard to put something together when you have 10,000 actual competitors, there to play. Yeah. So that's being in different esports outlets. I mean, you're used to seeing invitationals like NRG is invited to go to this one tournament where fighting games is an open bracket. Anyone's welcome to go out there and show everybody what you're made of. So
I wanted to ask you about that. That was on my list here since we got you, is because like most other esports, it's like the NBA, right? You're in a league, or maybe soccer's a better thing because you can get relegated and stuff. So, but you go through based off your past performances, you get put into an echelon where you're playing against people about your level. They don't just let the Sacramento Republic go up and play against the USA World team or an MLS team because they got to earn their way up there. Yeah, and in CS:GO, Overwatch League of Legends, there's that system. In the FGC, it's crazy. Like Nairo is, ranked worldwide in the PGR. He's a top level player, but even he, when he goes to these competitions, has to for hours play against me. Like I could literally sign up, be a low seed, and play against MKLeo in the first round.
But you could also be a dark horse that no one has ever heard of, and you knock MKLeo out right at the beginning.
Which is cool. Yeah. But that's so not fair. Like that is really not fair.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of part of the FGC. We're grassroots. It's a lot of the stuff is DIY because we're there to compete. We're there to be a part of the community. But there are things that are starting to come up. We have more invitationals like E-League from TBS that are doing a lot of things like that. And then you have things like Summit, where they invite a bunch of big players out, and then they have fun, they do their tournaments and all that stuff like that.
Incredible.
You got the Capcom Pro League that just came out where last season, where they have players to invite, and they create little teams, and then they have team based point system while they play Street Fighter V. So we are seeing those type of things where the pro players can stand out, but as the community as a whole, we're not just spectators, we're competitors, and we want to go out there and be able to play next to them, and they want that too.
Yeah, I guess I think there should be like Evo, for example, when you have one where the stakes are so high and the people are really grinding to get there all year. I would love to see an open division, and then I would love to see an invitational, where the people aren't chances of getting upset and things. And
yeah, it sounds like kind of like Magic the Gathering. If you look at Magic the Gathering, like there's a ton of Grand Prix that happen all around that help you qualify for invitationals, which help you qualify for regionals, which helps you qualify for nationals, which helps you qualify for world championships.
Yeah.
So like there's a system in place to make sure like Shahar Shenhar, who's one of the top ranked players in Magic, who lives just out in the same area here in Sacramento.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he lives
Shout out to Shahar
Shenhar.
My man.
Yeah.
Let's get him on the show.
He's won the world championship twice, actually. But somebody like him doesn't come in and some noob who's just started playing like the other day gets knocked out and he loses any opportunity to go back to the world championship.
Yeah.
So, I think it's just structure, I guess, is different.
Well, it's still a growing art form and stuff. There'd be
Absolutely.
plenty of opportunities. Like in the local scene, I totally get it. But I feel like on some of these events, we need to start making a little more sense. For
Yeah,
these
I
guys.
think once they start getting more sponsors and more money starts rolling into the the industry, especially our particular scene, I think we'll start seeing a lot more invitationals like that. Where if you go to an Evo, there's an invitational just for the pro players, but then there's also an amateur league where people can get points to finally move up to the different ranks.
Exactly.
But we'll see.
A lot going on in the world. If you're a gamer, there's
is
so
true.
much. We're under attack, ladies and gentlemen. We got the government.
By a goddamn mutated orange.
We haven't talked about Donald Trump too favorably on this show.
Because there's not much favorably things you can say.
And I think it's finally gotten to him. So he's lashing out at us
There you go.
through politics.
It's a personal vendetta.
No, but for real, there was some, obviously there was some tragedies in the last week, and it's come to a boiling point. There was a couple mass shootings, one in Ohio, one in Texas. And then instead of, some reflection, some intelligence, and some, decision making, we
Some
go
careful consideration.
we go back to the well of media outlets talking about how video games are the cause for all these.
This time it's Fortnite.
They're attacking everything.
This time
I thought it was Minecraft.
Fortnite was the big one because back in Columbine it was Doom.
It's Doom.
That was the one for Columbine, which just reminds you how long we've been having the same fucking conversation about this.
Even before Doom, even before anything had happened, you had all those parents who were all in an uproar over Mortal Kombat. And
yeah, because it was 94 that the ESRB became a thing because Joe Lieberman and some other congressmen lost their minds.
Yeah. And then the what was that Mothers Against there was a whole moms group that started up because of it as well.
Oh, that was wasn't that Al Gore's wife?
Probably.
I don't know.
But yeah, so it's like we've just been having the same fucking conversation over and over and over. We've done study after study after study on the subject and nothing concrete. And it's just like it's so much easier to point the finger and blame video games than do literally anything.
Oops, sorry.
Literally anything. You could do anything that your job as a representative actually requires you to do, but no, it's super easy to just
because the logic
video
is
games.
stupid. It's beyond idiotic because you think about it. Okay, if a video game causes you to react as such as they're saying, then alcohol should cause you to beat people up or beat your wife or whatever. Driving should cause you to kill people all the time. Like, all these things should result in the same things. But it's like you're cornering one thing because, like you mentioned, it's an easy scapegoat. It's the argument that's been tossed out over and over and over. And it's like, where is any of this based in fact? It's always alleged, but it's never exactly.
Before video games, it was movies and TV.
Oh yeah.
There's just always something to blame for.
Before that, it was music.
Yeah.
At the same time, it was
remember when the Beatles
that
were
evil rock music.
Satanas?
Yeah. Ozzy Osbourne was getting kids to commit
Elvis
suicide.
Presley's hips would hypnotize you.
Yeah.
And if you guys even remember, in 2011 or 12, California tried to ban violent video games. And remember how that went all the way up to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And after that battle, they looked at video games as an art form, and and it is protected under the First Amendment.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they're already blaming video games, they should be blaming
everything else.
Every other art form that could potentially cause
I actually
people
wrote
to have
a research
violent
paper on
rages.
this in college because
Oh,
I
yeah?
got really mad about it. But yeah, I wrote a research paper on the different studies that have been done. And the one that I always remember is there's a study done that tested cortisol levels. So cortisol is like the stress hormone.
Yeah.
And so they would test cortisol levels in gamers before they played, while they played, directly after, and then an hour later. And all they found was that your cortisol levels are heightened when you're playing, obviously. Your cortisol levels remain heightened shortly after, like right after you turn off the game. They're still there, but then within an hour, they're gone. Like they're back to normal levels. It has no long-lasting effect.
So what made people really start attacking video games in this whole thing was, I guess, the Texas shooter, I believe, the El Paso shooter, wrote like a manifesto.
Yeah, he did.
And in this manifesto of his, he likened, whatever he was about to do to being a super soldier from Call of Duty. I think he actually like called out, referenced Call of Duty as a thing. So a few things here. One, millions of people play Call of Duty.
Exactly.
Some are going to be crazy, some are not going to. I mean, he probably listens to music that you listen to too. So can you blame those particular songs? I mean, just because he referenced it or not?
Well, and you guys both just mentioned like about all these tens of thousands of video game players who were showing up at Evo, and I didn't hear of anything like violent happen while everybody was playing video games. Like nothing happened out there. You had a great example of like 10,000 people playing video games that have ranges from whatever, and nothing. Like that's a good litmus test in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
There's Slasher, who is a personality in the video game world. I first came onto him because he was a big leaker for Overwatch League. He just had all the information all the time. So and then he's just been kind of growing, and becoming a voice.
He's been around since like the beginning of MLG. Like he's OG when it comes to being part of the esports industry. So, and
he ended up on a spot on Fox News, and he had a really good. Basically, the leading argument here is that you look at worldwide mass shootings. Mm-hmm. We've had over 200 within a year here in America, and then second place is like 2 or 3. Yeah. So it's a very small number, and in every one of those countries listed, they have the same video games we have. Like it's at that point you got to realize it isn't a video game problem. If these things were across the board, I've played enough violent video games. I could safely say I've never even had the slightest impulse ever to shoot anybody.
It's true.
And I'm pretty sure, I hope, well, I don't know about Emma. Emma's might be on the bubble, but she has...
I'm an angry person.
I was just going to say, Emma's over here already flipping people off. And
that's just who I am. I also have zero desire to touch a gun, no matter how much I play Doom or Wolfenstein.
Yes.
Like, it just doesn't work. And, it's we're preaching to the choir here, because everybody that listens to this, obviously, is going to feel the same way for the most part.
We hope.
So, but it's just obnoxious to go through this again. It's like it dies down, and then every couple years, it's back.
Yeah.
And
it's that 7-year cycle. Like the conversation's always going to return.
Yeah.
So
it's like, just fucking do your goddamn job.
I think one of the things to recognize too in that little manifesto, even before he gets to the video games, he literally spells out everything Trump has already stated in previous speeches and whatnot, saying that's part of his reasoning. And then he gets to the video games, and it's like everybody completely overlooks that to go directly to the scapegoat.
I also believe he also posted a picture that literally spells Trump
with guns.
His guns.
Yeah.
with his
and
guns.
he made sure, he made sure to point out, because he knew that was going to be like the thing that people latched onto, is like, my thoughts about this predate Trump. Like, I felt like this before he was president. I'm going to continue to feel like this after I do this. Like, this is just, this is the right thing to believe, and it's what I believe.
But it's like massive peer pressure.
Yeah.
It's like you got somebody
you
like the
normalize
president.
it.
Exactly.
Well, see, I want to be careful, because I know for, sure, this is not what Trump would condone whatsoever. Like, it's heinous acts.
It is.
But some of the things he says and the way he reacts to people and the things he says in those tweets could make other people think that kind of stuff is okay.
Well, there's that video that went viral after this happened of somebody at one of his rallies. He's talking about the Mexican invasion and Hispanics coming into the country, and he's like, well, what do you do about that? And somebody in the audience says, you shoot them. And he laughs.
Everybody's
and he's like,
laughing.
Everybody laughs, and he laughs, and he's like, you can only get away with that in the Panhandle. And then he moves on.
Which the Panhandle is in Texas.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
You gotta be solid in those ethics and stuff. It's bananas to me. I mean, but you take that shit and then you take the case being made against video games. That's way more significant in any kind of decision making, in my opinion. But I don't know, guys. I think the few things just to do is keep these conversations going. Like I had talks with my parents when I played video games that started getting more violent. And you just got to keep that open dialogue with them. And, explain early on, this is video games, this is fake, this is real life. It's pretty simple.
I had actually that kind of conversation super early with Sega. I don't know if you guys remember Slaughterhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that entire, like, my parents had like a conversation. It's just a video game, but if you start acting like crazy, we're gonna pull the plug, we're gonna take the game away and everything. But at a young age,
my parents are the ones that got me started playing games.
Oh yeah, no, they're the ones who kept buying me the consoles and the games. Like, I couldn't afford the game at that age, but yeah, it's like you know that. I mean, common sense dictates as a gamer that those kind of tendencies. That's why you play the games. You let the avatars, the players, the characters, you let them act out all that stuff. You don't do that.
The most important thing we can do before we move on, because we got some news to take care of today too, some other news, but vote. First of all, it's the most important thing you can do. Vote. Pay attention.
Oh hell yeah!
If you're
of age.
Oh yeah.
In not even just in presidential elections, in midterm elections and your local elections, pay attention to that shit.
Yeah, and if you see one of these guys, popping off talking about how bad video games are from your state, that's your responsibility to keep those guys in check. You write in, go vote, pick candidates who represent you. One thing don't do, which I've seen a lot of people doing that I have a lot of respect for, but you can't do, is like really return hate and attacks with attacks. Yeah. Like, I see a lot of people I made a tweet about this the other day because I feel strong about it. Like, I'm not even a baby boomer. Like, I'm not a boomer. But I'm seeing that thrown around as like an insult. Like, we have so many boomers, in office, and oh, what a fucking boomer, and that's being used as like an insult to these people. But that's like an entire generation. Yeah. And there's a lot of people from that generation who don't agree with these people.
Same thing like millennials and everyone else. Like, if you use a single group, a single amount of people within a large demographic, and you just blanket the entire demographic as such, you're no better than the people who are racist against African Americans or Hispanics or whatever, because you're pretty much stereotyping everybody because of the fact of what a small group is doing.
Identity politics is a very bad thing. And like, I put out that message, and then another really cool person replied, and he was like, yeah, but to be fair, like, that happens to millennials all the time. The older generation was saying, oh, the millennials don't do this, or the millennials are too weak, they're not doing this or that and the other thing. And the reply was, yeah, like, I'm a millennial. I heard a lot of that shit, and it sucked. So I don't want to do it to someone else.
If you live your life as eye for an eye, then the world's going to go blind eventually.
Look at Eddie with the wisdom, man.
I don't think you can take credit for that one.
No, that's
he didn't come up with that.
No, I know that was somewhere else. I'm just saying.
Emmaskies, we got some real news we got to talk about, right? What do we got out there?
We do. Speaking of shitty stuff, we'll just get right into the shitty stuff. Well, do we want to start with the shitty stuff, or do we want to start with the fun stuff?
I think we're saying on the fun stuff.
Let's end with the fun.
Okay, so starting on the shitty stuff, the ESA, everybody. So the ESA is the Entertainment Software Association, and they are the organization that runs E3.
I've been to their offices.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're in D.C., and like, they were nice, really accommodating. Like,
I'm sure they are.
Everything seemed legit and wholesome while I was there.
You were the fatted calf that they needed to bring in to be on their side. They're like, please come in. Would you like some sparkling water?
Well, one of the other big things that they do beyond like E3 is that they are lobbyists.
They're a lobbying group for the video game industry.
Exactly. So they would, in theory, be the ones who are on Capitol Hill right now saying that no, it's not video games.
And they did put out a statement about that.
What was? Did you? Is that part of the notes?
I don't have it with me, but they put out a statement over the weekend.
Yeah, so that's what they do. So if you're wondering what ESA is while we're getting into this, that's what they do. They're a lobbying group that's pro video games in Washington D.C.
Yes, and so they run E3, and they have since the very beginning. And E3 is, it's important to kind of realize during this conversation that E3 has been on the decline for a while. Yeah. Yep. Like, E3 has had some really, really hard years, and you could really tell publicly when they started they started charging admission and anybody could come. That was kind of how you were like, oh, they're really hemorrhaging money and they're needing to, restructure and figure out how they're going to do things. So this weekend, this lovely company that everybody is just so happy about right now, doxed 2,000 journalists on accident.
Okay, there we go, on accident. Because when you say doxed, I always feel like it's a malicious intent. But
WikiLeaks.
It wasn't malicious as far as we know. It was just fucking stupid.
It was just
Although,
dumb.
you know what? They have fully admitted that, like, they haven't said what happened, so it could have been some malicious asshole. But basically, there was a document on their website for a time. Nobody really knows why it was there or what it was. But basically, on their website, on the E3 website, there was a media relations or media registration document, and it was a plain text Excel document with no password protected. You just clicked on it, and it had the name, phone number, and address of every single journalist who had gone to E3 for 2004 and 2006.
These are home addresses and not like business addresses.
Some of them are business addresses, like if you work for a big company like IGN or something like that. But if you're a smaller creator or you're freelance, especially like most of the journalists that go there, it was your home address.
My address must have been like
our
address is on that list because we've been to those events.
I mean, you can check it. People are circulating it.
I'm good.
So
I moved. I'm good.
one person.
I think it's our old address, so hopefully.
It was like, it's really bad. That's bad. That's your address, your phone number, every possible way to reach you. And I was talking with somebody else about it, and he was like, "Oh, well, I mean, is it really that bad?" And I'm like, "Did you forget that Gamergate was a thing that existed and happened? Like, that wasn't that long ago."
Yeah.
So Sophia Norwitz is a gaming journalist and a YouTuber who was, I don't know if she's not the one that discovered it, but she was the one that first talked about it. Somebody reached out to her actually and was like, "Hey, I just found all your information on this. You might want to know this exists."
Yeah.
So she reached out to the ESA, she called them, she emailed them, like she tried to hit up every piece of contact she possibly could. And then when it was down, she posted about it on her YouTube channel. But even taking it down was a fucking mess because they took down like the link to the page, but if you still had the direct link, you could still get to it. It was still there. It existed.
Oh man, who's running their? Oh,
Right.
And then
And if the
when
web
they
page was
finally,
cached, you should be able to access
that's exactly what happened because when they finally took the direct link down and they took the document off the website, people were still able to get into cached versions of it and find the fucking document. It took them forever to take this thing down.
And I thought the whole Equifax data breach was bad. Oh my gosh.
This is flat out like a lawsuit.
It's
in
so
my opinion.
yeah,
Like,
completely.
bad.
This is
Like, this was public. It was right there. Like, there was no password. You didn't have to know anything special.
Yeah.
You didn't have to hack into anything. It was public information until they finally took it down.
of all the industries for this to happen in. You gotta believe that the video game industry is the worst.
Yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah.
like, this is one of the worst. Like the people who would be searching for this shit are not usually good people.
No.
These
The
are
trolliest of
these
the
are the
trolls.
trolly Reddit 13-year-olds. There's probably people shipping eggs and just weird shit to people's
Not
houses
even
right
texting
now.
like, "Give me your Roblox account. I
Yeah.
need to get into."
Well, and then like
I
there's
need-
the annoying stuff, and then there's the harmful stuff. There's the people that will threaten
Yeah.
and especially women. Like, this was a big thing with
Yeah.
Gamergate. Is like, if you're a female game journalist, like, get ready to be stalked, get
Yeah.
ready for threats. Alana Pierce was one of the journalists that was doxxed, and she has a history of being stalked because she's a journalist. It was a fucking mess. And they kind of tweeted out a lighthearted apology, but it wasn't, they didn't really take responsibility for anything. I think their wording at the end of their tweet ended up being, "We apologize for the inconvenience of this. We're searching to see what happened." So they did send an email on Monday that said, "In the course of our investigation, we learned that the media contact lists from E3 2004 and 2006 were cached on a third-party internet archive site. These were not files hosted on ESA services or current websites. We took immediate steps to have those files removed, and we received confirmation that all files have been taken down, blah, blah, blah. We're working with our partners, outside counsel, and independent experts to investigate what led to this situation." Like, it's a whole lot of, like, it's a lot of words to not apologize.
Yeah.
That's a lot of shit to say to not, I don't know. It's annoying. It feels like there wasn't any responsibility taken for what happened.
Yeah.
And it's really weird that it was 2004 and 2006. Like, why was there
It's almost like
version?
I was gonna say it's almost like what was so unique at 2004 and 2006 that was like
That they just happened to be accessible. Like,
Exactly.
what was that?
Yeah.
Because when I read it, I thought it was this year. And then I thought it was the year before. And I got freaked out for like a minute because I've gone to E3 the last 3 years. And I was like, if my name is on that list, I swear to God. But
it's scary times. There's a huge error. Now they've got, if E3 wasn't already hurting, this is definitely like a nail in the coffin. PlayStation didn't even show up this year.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And like, why would you go back?
Exactly.
Why would you risk your exposure, your own personal safety, to go back to something that is already on the decline and you're not sure it's going to be worth? Like, it's barely worth the cost-benefit analysis to go when you're not going to get doxxed. But if you are risking putting your personal information out to the public, like, no thanks. I think I can cover it from home.
Yeah. Completely. So
what else we got? We got more ESA stuff.
We do have more ESA stuff on a little, on a little better note.
ESA's on a roll.
They are. So an ESA rep, there was I don't know if it was like there was some sort of conference, there was some sort of blog post along with it, but basically the ESA announced that Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony will be disclosing loot box chances starting next year.
So we've been covering this, whenever they come up, but there's been a lot of issues, more so in other countries. And I'm pretty sure that this whole thing is based more off of what's been happening over there, because it hasn't been like a huge issue over here.
There's a piece of legislation on the table right now that a couple of congressmen have been working on. But you're right, like, it hasn't been a big, because most of them don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So it's hard to really get a push for it.
Yeah. And so basically, when we're playing Overwatch, for example, and we're buying loot boxes for the chance to maybe get that skin we want, there's nowhere listed where you even have any kind of clue what your odds are.
Yeah.
So they could have that thing tightened up to where 1 or 2 people get it, in total. Or it could be one in every 100 boxes. Like, we just don't know. Emma, you've had times where you've opened like 200 boxes and didn't get the skin you wanted.
Yep.
So now they have to actually start disclosing those numbers. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, right now it's not a have to kind of a thing. So the actual quote was Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony have indicated to ESA a commitment to new platform policies with respect to the use of paid loot boxes in games that are developed for their platforms. Specifically, this would apply to new games and game updates that would add loot box features, and it would require the disclosure of the relative rarity or probabilities of obtaining randomized virtual items in games that are available on their platforms. I almost got through that without stuttering. God damn it.
Yeah.
So new games and game updates. So like Overwatch doesn't have to do it. Things like that.
So in China, like they outright ban loot boxes, right?
Yeah.
So for Overwatch, you buy the coins, and then that way you can just purchase the items that you wanted to purchase.
Which is what, which is...
You purchase the items outright, or you purchase the loot boxes?
You can purchase the items.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah, you purchase coins and use those coins to buy the items.
So as a tie-in story to that, Rocket League recently announced, Psyonix said that later this year they're going to remove all paid randomized crates from Rocket League and instead put in a system that shows exactly what you're buying.
I'm so excited for this fucking system. I hate loot boxes. I fucking hate loot boxes. I cannot believe it's gotten this out of control, and I'm so excited that this is going away.
Yeah. Premium and DLC purchases will be the same, but Epic recently purchased them, and the Chinese market is huge for them.
Right.
And that's where they just got approval to put Rocket League in the Chinese market, and so they're already going to have to do this new system, and I think it's wonderful that they're just going to go ahead and put that out. And it's Fortnite's that same way too. I don't think Fortnite does crates. You know what you're buying or what you have to hit the certain level to get.
Yeah, they changed that. They announced that change in January because the PvE Save the World or whatever it's called had loot boxes, and they changed it.
Good for
so
them.
It's the same thing where like you know what you're buying, or like you know what's in the box before you buy the box.
Yeah.
But, I mean, let's be honest. So even though they're going to be moving away from this system, I'm pretty sure
They'll
like the
figure
developers
something
are
out.
going to figure something else out to make you have to be like go nuts over, aside from loot boxes. Like they're going to give everybody a fucking shovel in the game or something. I don't know, and look for it themselves.
And like having microtransactions is fine, and I totally understand having microtransactions, especially in the current climate of the industry.
Yeah.
But it's the randomized loot boxes. It's not giving out any sort of indication on how rare or how common something is. Like, you know, like on Overwatch is the only really one that I have experience with. Like you have different colors. You know, the white ones are super common. You get them all the time. Blue, purple, legendary. And like I'll open 50 boxes and get one legendary.
Yeah.
And you just don't you have no idea. Or you'll open a bunch of boxes and you only get whites, and they're all like, you know, things that you don't care about. And it's so annoying. It's so
I know.
annoying.
Thankfully,
I
I'm
hate
at the
it.
part where I get nothing but duplicates, so I'm just always
Exactly.
Getting the money.
Yeah, and I just go buy the costumes I want.
Ruru too. Shout out to our Twitch chat. He says surprise mechanics is what it's called.
Surprise mechanics. Yeah, that's one way to put it.
That's really what EA was talking to
Oh,
the EU about. They're like, we have surprise mechanics and people enjoy them. No, we fucking don't.
We want our gamers to feel a sense of accomplishment and.
How about less work on the loot boxes and just finish the goddamn game? Like,
Yes.
make
Oh
the
my
game
God.
without any glitches.
Well, and like speaking of Europe, like Nintendo actually pulled titles out of the Belgian market because they got sued.
Oh, is that right?
Like Nintendo's actually like there are certain Nintendo games you cannot buy in Belgium
Wow.
Wow.
because they don't allow loot boxes and they don't allow microtransactions like that anymore.
I saw like a small amount of outrage from people
Why?
who wanted to
Who
keep.
wants this?
That's what I was thinking. And you know how we're
I
always.
Who is this good for? You know what? It's all these companies that have like their burner accounts on
Yeah, I was
Reddit.
just gonna say.
It's their Smurf Twitter account.
It's the president of EA's
It's the fake Yelp reviews.
fake account. Yeah.
It's like, my name is Justin. I'm 12 years old and I play Roblox and I really want loot boxes.
I think
There's like some sort of legalese in there, so you're like,
Exactly.
that's not a 12-year-old.
Right?
one thing we would always talk
sound
about on
right.
the show was like, you know, when we talk about this topic was like, are we getting children addicted to gambling? And if you are mad that they're taking away loot boxes,
Yes.
yeah, you have a gambling problem and don't go to Vegas. What else we got?
I'll be like, wait, Super Mario World 3 used to maybe do that at the end of the game when you used to, each level.
I don't know, man. I'm so
It's not
excited
random.
for loot boxes
Huh?
to not be
It's not
a thing.
random.
Is it?
Nope.
I used to nick it.
I feel like within 10 years, loot boxes will just be a thing of the past that we won't like randomized loot boxes that
Yeah.
we won't have to
Yeah.
deal with anymore.
I
But
hope so.
like you said, like what's gonna pop up in its place?
Exactly.
What's it gonna be? What fresh hell?
Yeah, I'm
It's
telling
coming
you.
our way.
Everybody gets a goddamn golden shovel. Start digging.
Swear to God. So the other thing that we had, the slightly happier news, I guess, is the Pokemon Sword and Shield trailer that came out today.
Let's go. Finally, some happy news.
And a new gameplay trailer with Kiss and a Bong Pokemon and a Pokemon with pockets that makes me uncomfortable.
Go, Gene Simmons.
Pokemon is doubling down on like the 80s metal,
Yeah.
here, disco metal, because like she's right. I didn't think about it that way, but Weezing is an old classic Pokemon.
Yeah.
He has now a top hat and like
Yeah, okay, it's a top hat.
Well, this region
Sure.
is supposed to
It's
be
a
based.
smokestack.
Yeah, this region's supposed to be based in the UK, right?
Is it really?
Yeah, so those
so
stop.
it's
Yeah,
like
so
the
those are
style
like
smokestack.
yeah,
Industrial
like in
and-
the industrial age. Yeah,
It's
That's
like
what it's
it's
representing.
questionable.
Yeah.
He's got like an old timey
bong.
like mustache and goatee and stuff.
He comes out of the ball. Hello, mate.
Yeah.
Ready, dough.
And then this so it's kind of like the Alolan
Coughs in
one.
English.
Yeah.
They did
Yeah.
like the executor with the big long neck and stuff. So this is like that. They also you did make a like a little weasel Pokemon that was black and white, and his tongue is
There's
sticking
a
out.
Zigzag Zoon.
Zigzagoon.
Zigzagoon.
Yeah, Zigzagoon. And he told like look at if you
Gesundheit.
pause this podcast, open up a new tab, look up Zigzagoon from the new game,
Yeah,
and
what is it?
tell and his evolved form.
Galarian.
Yeah.
Yeah, Galarian.
Yeah.
Galarian Zigzagoon. Tell me that's not Gene Simmons.
It is so Gene Simmons. Just
Shoulder pads,
tongue.
tongue sticking out. And then to make it even different, like now they have Team Yell
Instead of Team Rocket.
instead of Team Rocket, and they're just like all these overweight rocker dudes.
It's like, all right, I get it. You know, Rebel Yell, Billy Idol, English rocker. I get it. Okay, Team Yell.
Sex Pistols.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just seems like a lazy name. That's a very lazy name.
Like, what can we do?
You have all the fucked up Pokemon names that they've come up with out of some weird alphabet generator
Zigzagoon?
they've created,
Where the hell did that come from?
Zigzagoon, yeah.
and then you have Team Yell.
Team Yell.
I'm like, you can come
Four
up with better
letters.
words than this. Come on.
They introduced corgis, and that's probably the only reason why I'll play this Pokemon.
Oh, that's
And I will
right.
just have a whole team of Yampers.
Is that what they're called in
Yeah,
that
they're
game?
called Yampers.
You'd be like the queen.
I'll be
you
the
go.
queen.
Your army of corgis.
I was gonna say just like the Queen.
Yeah.
I think
All hell
I
Queen.
just read this weekend she's had 20 corgis, and all of them have been descended from the first corgi that she got on her 18th
I'm just
birthday.
waiting until she gets on Craigslist
What?
to sell one. I mean,
I don't think she has any more corgis.
Like, I will fly over there just to grab one. Just
Jeez. The cool Pokemon they had is like a new little cute one who has like two forms.
Yeah.
One when he's full and like
When his belly's full?
full belly version, and then hangry version he turns
Yeah.
into a dark type.
Yeah, so
I
he's an
didn't see
electric
that
type
one.
until
Yeah.
he's hangry, then he's a dark type.
yeah. It's like
Relatable.
I guess my Pokemon's gonna starve because I want to see that hangry mode all the
I
time.
know. I want to see that hangry mode.
It's like your Pokemon has died.
Right? Like if you want to go into battle and you're like, I need a dark type against this, so you can't fucking eat. Like as if battling, as if the animal abuse and the battling wasn't bad enough. The dog fighting rings that make up Pokemon weren't bad enough. You're gonna starve him first.
You know who's gonna be great at this game? Brooke Houts,
The YouTuber.
the YouTuber.
That was a great segue.
And
by the way.
Amaranth will also probably be pretty
my
damn good at this
gosh.
game if it has to do with abusing your animals, because we have more abusive pet owners in the news, unfortunately. The next one is a YouTuber this time.
This is the one thing that can always like unite people is like don't fuck with your animals.
Seriously.
Like even the platforms like YouTube will be like racism, okay. Like transphobia, that's fine. Animal abuse, fuck you.
Hell no.
You're
Like-
getting off our
like,
site.
You have a white supremacist, YouTube channel. All right, just keep it to yourself.
Just don't hit
What
your dog
the
on
fuck
it.
did you do to that turtle?
She'll be gone.
Yeah, so she was, first of all, leave it to Keemstar, to come up and dig this crap off the internet. But she starts off the video, she's going to pull a prank on her dog.
Yeah.
And she's going to
That
put
always goes well.
She put saran wrap on her door.
on the
to-
door, call the dog so it gets excited and runs into it and records the reaction. So she's an asshole.
Hilarious.
Yeah, already
Yeah.
off the bat, I'm like,
Automatically,
all right,
yeah.
you just need to go to hell.
And then she's, seems pretty tall. The dog's big.
Yeah,
And
it's
at
a
one-
Doberman Pinscher.
The dog kind of gets up on hind legs and like nips at her face. And then she just straight slaps that thing.
Yeah.
Which, okay, I'm playing devil advocate here for a minute. I was okay at this
I don't know
point.
if this is a role you want to
I
play.
was like, if that was it, I was like, okay, I wouldn't like ban
Yeah.
her channel or anything. Like, I don't know, because like if dog's gonna bite at your face, you gotta swat it away. Maybe it was a little
Yeah.
hard, So I'm giving the benefit of the doubt here.
Oh.
Then in the next scene,
A millisecond later.
God.
she's on her knees saying something to the camera. The dog comes up and gets in her face. She grabs the thing by the head, slams it on the ground. Again, okay, I'm with her. I'm like, okay, maybe this is how you train your dog. I don't
No,
know.
it's not.
I like to give people the benefit, Emma.
Too much.
But
I'm like,
then
do I need to worry about Leia?
No,
like,
no,
for
no.
real. Just I'm just saying.
Then she crosses the line though when she spits in the dog's face.
Where does that?
I don't
I've never
understand.
even considered ever doing anything like that to a dog, let alone my own animals.
Why spit in its face? Like
makes no
The
sense.
dog won't understand. Like, I feel like if you spank a dog or whatever, or what I would do to train my dogs is I put them on their back and you're supposed to look at them, assert your dominance or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I understand certain techniques to try and train your dog, but
Yeah.
there's spitting on a dog is just what the fuck.
It makes no sense at all. It's like, I get it. You're frustrated. It's like any child, because it looks like it's still a pup, technically, like maybe within a year or
The
two.
dog was just wanting to play.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
that was the other thing. Is like she's filming in a small space. It looks like she's in her apartment is nice from what we can see, but I'm sure it's an apartment.
Yeah.
And the dog's just cooped up. She has a big dog. Big dogs have a lot of energy. He
Yeah.
needs to run. He needs to play. Just take your fucking dog on a walk and come back and film.
Don't get pissed off at the dog because the dog's smarter than you and can see through your shit with your little stupid prank.
Yeah.
She gets upset because the dog doesn't run into the saran wrap. Okay, figure something else out. You're a YouTuber. You're supposed to be generating content other than picking on your dog.
Yeah.
Hope somebody takes that fucking dog away.
Well, interesting that you say that, because we were looking at it earlier and apparently the police are looking into it. So
It's good they need to. I mean, just imagine what she could be doing, with the dogs with the camera off. If
Right.
they're doing-
If that's what she was doing with
Right.
the camera on. And that's my thing. Is it's her footage. How did it get edited and posted?
They say it was a mistake,
How does that? I don't understand. Because I don't know.
but I think it's still up. Is the other part to it? It's still up. It's got 27,000 downvotes. Oh, I just clicked on the link. It is down now, but it was up for a while after the controversy.
she's like,
had
oh shit,
happened.
they're talking about me on VGB.
Yeah.
I gotta get off.
I could get a little bit. I'm going to squeeze a little bit of ad revenue out of this thing, and then I'll delete it.
Yeah, I didn't know. I've never heard of her, and I didn't know what it was that happened. All I saw was somebody quote tweeted it. Whatever her apology was. Her apology is the standard apology for YouTuber. It's in the notes app, and it's 4 pictures because it's super fucking long.
Oh my gosh.
And somebody that I know had quote tweeted and was like, that was a lot of words to say. You're a fucking animal abuser.
I've had a hard week, and I'm having trouble creating content on my channel, and I didn't mean to take it out on my dog.
Yeah.
That's literally probably what they said. It's bullshit. Seriously, if you're treating an animal like that in that way, you don't deserve to have that animal.
No.
You don't deserve to be around animals.
And that's true. Dogs and animals aren't for everybody.
No.
If if you feel like you need to beat an animal or dog or whatever,
seek help.
See, it's not
or
for
buy
you.
a punching bag.
You
Seriously,
you have deeper issues. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You go to Krav Maga.
Exactly.
You know, do something where you expel that negative energy some other way, and not on your kids, not on your significant other, and not on your fucking pet. None of those are okay.
Be nice to your animals.
Plain and simple. It's like, especially if you're somebody of influence. Like, even if you're a low-level influencer, like a micro-influencer on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, if you're going to do something stupid, expect it to be seen in one way or another. People are going to find out. It's always going to happen. Look at everybody else who's gotten into big trouble over stupid things that got out there. Like, if it hadn't been filmed, I'm pretty sure one of her close friends, quote-unquote, would have said, like, oh, Brooke actually beats her dogs. You guys don't know this, but she actually is whatever. Like, it's going to come out. So, like, if you're just a shitty human being, like, seek help. It's not a problem. Go find help somewhere.
Stop it. Just stop.
Just stop.
And then the last thing we had was Benioff and Wise are back at it again.
Oh, shit.
I'm glad they're still working together.
Well, they need to go and, like, take some writing classes or, like, figure out how to create a little bit more.
After they bitched out of their Comic-Con panel.
Yeah, so
I haven't really heard much from them.
What's the
Fucking
actual
cowards.
story here?
So
what do we know?
Netflix they signed a deal with Netflix. So I guess Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and some other platform have really kind of just been fighting over them for a while. Which why?
Yeah.
But so they just signed what is reportedly a 9-figure deal with Netflix to create shows and movies, multiple, plural.
That's stupid.
Over the next however many years. The contract, nobody really knows much about it, but why? Honestly, why? They're doing the new Star Wars movies. They're doing Confederate, for better or for worse.
Oh, so we didn't even talk. So Confederate seems to be like a mix of Man in the High Castle and Handmaid's Tale, right? So it's like alternate reality.
It's alternate history. That's the genre. It's alternate history. Confederate is going to be an HBO show about an alternate universe where the Confederacy did successfully secede from the Union.
Oh.
And in the words of the actual synopsis for the show, slavery continues to thrive.
Because that's exactly what we need.
So for about half the American population, this is a fantasy show.
Who wants this?
for others, this is a how-to.
Yeah, jeez.
So, yeah, they're working on the new Star Wars, which obviously is taking up so much of their time that they couldn't bother to finish Game of Thrones, right? They're
Seriously.
working on Confederate, and now they have a 9-figure deal with Netflix. Like, you're spreading yourselves real thin. I know that you got a lot of money and you're getting more of it, but damn.
The rich get richer. Segue that because you bring up like these streaming services like Hulu. They just announced Disney.
Oh yeah, the thing I was saying they were going to do the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah, they're bundling Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN. Mm-hmm. $12.99. That's a pretty damn
bad.
good deal.
That's really good.
It is not bad. I'm curious what that means though, because Hulu has multiple levels.
It's probably the lowest level.
That's what I'm thinking. It's going to be the
commercials.
lowest level where you still get commercials, which is the biggest bullshit I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe you have to pay extra to not have commercials.
Yeah, I pay
Seriously.
the tier where I don't get commercials.
You do?
Yeah.
It seems like
I have that too.
It seems like their commercials have been getting longer and longer throughout
there's
the years.
so many.
Yeah, there's like
so
4
many.
commercials now. It's like I could just be watching TV and deal with this than pay for it. So
If it wouldn't be so bad if they didn't just play the same commercials
Yeah.
over.
And like on TV, you can record and then you can skip through the commercials.
Yeah.
And there's no option for that on Hulu. It's a whole thing. It's a whole
unless
thing.
you get like the Hulu larger one with the cable channels and all that. But then even then there's a commercial version and a commercial
which is
free
the
version.
biggest bullshit. But
So what's going to happen with Spotify? Because I know if you have Spotify Premium, you
you
automatically
get
have Hulu
Hulu.
as well.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Why am I not doing this?
You have to be a first time
Subscriber.
subscriber.
Yeah.
I'll make a new email. Like that's
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 easy
all
enough.
you got to do. Damn. Wow. So Disney Plus is the one that's going to have all the new Marvel stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
More
so
than likely.
Disney Plus is going to have all the family-friendly Marvel stuff. Hulu has the more mature Marvel stuff, which, speaking of, while we're on the subject of Hulu and Marvel, they finally announced that they're doing a crossover episode with the Runaways and Cloak and Dagger, and I'm so fucking
Wow.
excited.
I tell you, they listened to the show. Emma.
I
they
fucking
heard.
lost it.
They heard you.
They did. They knew.
It was
yeah,
a matter
so
of time just because of how they cross into the comics.
Yeah.
anyways, so.
Yeah.
So that, yeah,
let us believe, Jay. Jay's like, it wasn't really you guys.
Just a little water on your fire here. Just let's go ahead and let this die for a little bit.
They were already to do it because like I was at the Runaways panel at New York Comic Con last year, and somebody in the audience asked, they're like, when are we getting a Cloak and Dagger crossover? Is that ever going to happen? And Chef Loeb was just like, not this season. And we're like, so you're telling me there's a chance?
No.
Yeah. This is a great value, though. This is the kinds of news that you need in the world. This is a good one to end on, everybody. $12. I think that's what I end up paying for my Netflix by itself because I got the stupid 4K add-on package crap. Oh, man. A lot going on, gamers. Stay strong. Go out and vote. And after you vote, go to Oblivion Comics and Coffee and check out
the VGB Sunrise.
The VGB Sunrise, baby. We got to try
lime
it.
soda, orange juice, and grenadine.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes.
Oh, I just knew it tasted good.
I'm like, all right, I'll make it at home. Don't need to go buy it.
Yeah. I just ordered.
Have the same love.
Okay. What I just ordered was a bunch of VGB stickers, and we're gonna take them over to Oblivion. And pretty soon, when you buy the drink, you get a free sticker.
There you go.
Support your favorite show. Put it on the back of your vehicle. Slap them on a bunch of our Lime scooters that we have in the city now.
Right.
Man.
Did you guys see that? Sacramento's coming up.
I haven't seen them yet.
All them Lime scooters and jump bikes, and it's like, come on.
We had the jump scooters, but they just dropped like 2,000 more like of the green ones.
Oh, wow.
So now we're a big city.
There you go. We're a big city, guys.
Jason Gist, man. Thanks for showing up for the show. Tell everybody what you got going, where they could find you, and your next event, man.
Yeah, so my next event is actually next Saturday at the Capitol Event Center, which is right above Oblivion Comics and Coffee. We got a lot of fighting games going on. It's going to be super fun. And that's going to benefit the UC Davis Children's Hospital. Nice. Also, on top of that, starting next week, we're going to start making plans for the fair for next year, and I'll hopefully start announcing some other events that we're working on as well throughout the year.
Congratulations on getting the State Fair Twitch partnered.
Oh, yeah.
In one weekend, basically.
It was crazy, yeah.
Or a couple weeks, you got the account partnered. So, huge congratulations. That opens up the door next time to do some much cooler stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I can't do that without everybody, tuning in and participating and being a part of the event. I mean, I so appreciate it for anyone and everyone that was part of it.
But are you partnered on Mixer though?
Do I want to be partnered on Mixer?
Yeah, man. Ninja just hit 1 million subs in like a month, man.
That doesn't mean anything right now.
It really doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything when they're giving them out for free.
That's true.
Yeah, I know. I did go to the website. It says you can get a free subscription to Ninja right now.
Yeah, that was like the first day they were like, oh, Ninja got 500,000 subscribers. And I was like, no, he didn't.
Why would 1 million people give that to Ninja of all people? Like, he doesn't need it, man. I love you, Ninja, but you don't need that money.
It's not like a Twitch Prime where they only have one. Like, everybody just gets a free subscription to him.
Okay.
It's like the PewDiePie thing.
That's probably his bonus or something. Eddie, what's going on with Filmlosophers, man? Where can people listen to the show?
You can check us out at filmlosophers.com, where you can catch all 175 episodes we got on there, including this past one with Hobbs and Shaw, talking about Hobbs and Shaw. We're also going to be at Oblivion Comics and Coffee this upcoming Monday.
Yeah.
We got a big old collaboration trivia night for us. So with you guys at VGB.
Yeah. So we're doing it. It's the theme is blockbuster movies.
Yeah, summer blockbusters, and we're going to be throwing out some great swag and some awesome fun times and
big prizes.
Some big prizes.
So it's not the B-rated movies that you would have find at Blockbuster Video.
No. That's for the next month.
Yeah. Emma Skies, what's going on? What's your stream schedule looking like?
I'll be starting a new Colossus tomorrow at 1 p.m. I'll be on with the Minecraft joinable server at 5 p.m. on Friday. And then on Sunday, I did not realize, and I'm really mad at myself, I did not realize Sea of Solitude had already come out. So I'm going to play through it start to finish on Sunday.
Which one is Sea of Solitude?
That was the one from E3 where I kept getting it confused with Sinking City, which it has nothing to do with, but only because you're in like a sunken city.
Okay.
The trailer was kind of like it had that like really heavily stylized art style, and you were kind of in the boat that, with the, that was a really bad, really vague. I can't.
It's the one with the boat.
I remember the trailer existing, and like you're like in the boat, and there's some sort of bird monster, and it looks like it's really like sad and dark and lonely. but also scary. It just looks. I'm gonna play that on Sunday. If you want to know what it is, come by on Sunday.
You'll get a better idea of it.
You'll get a much better idea of what the fuck I'm doing.
I think I'm gonna keep up my streams on Monday nights. Just a lot of Overwatch, man. I'm grinding on that game hard, and that's Bachelor in Paradise night. So I was hoping to get my wife.
How many fucking Bachelor shows are there?
They don't stop.
How much can you watch 27 people try to date one person?
Well, this is different. They send them all on an island, and it gets even worse. But
so it's Love Island.
So they send them all on an island, and they tell them there can only be one at the end.
It's
Battle Royale all over again.
That I might watch.
I would much rather be spending my Monday nights in the arms of my loving wife, but she commits to watching this show, so that's why I stream and I drink, and it's a lot of fun.
Now you get to spend your Monday night in the arms of Rollock.
Yes! Please give me Rollock all day, every day. But thank you so much. If you listen to the show on the podcast through RSS feed, through great apps like iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, great. We love you, but you can watch us live and chat with us, interact with some amazing people like Pocket Asian, Ruru2, Germanic Ogre, Lost Sheep, Steven. Lots of cool people drop by in our chat, and they give us inspiration when we're doing the show. And then likewise, if you're one of the people in the chat right now hanging out with us, you could always go check out the archives on all the podcasting services. Yeah, all the things we talked about before. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. For Jason Gist, Eddie Villanueva, Emma Skies, my name is Cory, saying you've just been banged.